Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo, and welcome to my scrapbook table. Today I'm using this sketch by Allison Davis to scrapbook some photos of my son's bride and her family before the wedding ceremony. And I decided to go with the blue again because that plays into the photos. And I have some ribbon that we used to decorate for the reception that we actually had here in Ohio. And I have some more of this gorgeous blue pattern paper from Craft Consortium, I believe. And then I pull out a piece of paper that kind of mimics the brick color, and that's what I create some florals with from my dies. So this paper, other than the sketch, I kind of did this from scratch. I don't have things that go with this gorgeous paper, so I pulled out my dies, and Dorothy Guinan from Scrapbooking Quebec always says, pull out your dies, and leaf dies are great for anything. So I used flowers and leaves, and it worked. So thank you, Dorothy. I could hear you saying that while I was working on this and thinking about what to do. So I'm following the sketch from Allison Davis, using the ribbon as some of the strips of paper, and then just piecing together the 6x6 strips, or the 6-inch strips that I cut to make 12-inch ones. And then of course they were a tiny bit shorter than my white paper, so I had to trim that off. And I'm still at a crop, so you can see me here probably talking to somebody. And now I'm adding the second color ribbon. I apologize for the cord that's showing there on the right. I had to plug in my phone to charge while I was filming, and I try not to do that while I'm filming just for this reason. And I was low on ribbon. I didn't have a lot, so where I know the ribbon would be covered up, I'm trimming it off. And then on the back, I use some liquid glue and then some washi tape to hold it down securely while that liquid glue dries. And I had no washi tape with me, so I had to go to someone sitting at another table who had a huge stash and borrow a little bit of washi tape. These photos were taken outside the church where the wedding was taking place. The brick made a gorgeous background. It was a beautiful sunny fall day in Memphis. Mid-60s, just absolutely perfect day. And I'm thinking about where I'm going to put things. I do end up cutting this one down just a bit more because in the sketch, Allison had a photo on the far left that was kind of tilted. And so that's what that one is going to be, but I needed to make it a little bit smaller to make that work. And now I'm thinking about how to mat it, because all the ones across the vertical photos are matted on that wood grain paper, or not really matted, but laying on that wood grain block. But I matted this one with some blue. Since I have a lot of it, I may as well use a little bit of the blue to do the matting. And it still shows up against the other blue that it's against because there's just so many different blues and greens in this paper that it worked out just fine. This layout actually took me a really long time. Partly because I was tired, partly because I was talking with people, and partly because I was going by the sketch, but I didn't have exactly the right size photos and papers for the sketch, so I was having to make it work. But it turned out really nice, and I'm glad I used that ribbon. It was a nice touch. So I cut some smaller strips to lay on the wide ribbon. And yes, there's a little seam there that shows where they meet. In two of them it shows up, in two they just kind of blend together, so it's fine. Oh yes, this photo stuck, so I am going to have to reprint the photo that's just of Kayla and her parents, because I laid a picture down that had adhesive on it and got a little bit of glue on the photo. But for now, it's fine. And this is where I decided, okay, I've got to have some embellishments. I don't have anything pre-made that will work, so I got to get creative. So I pulled out this Sizzix die set. It's got some different florals and different, oops, there's afternoon or evening snack. Maybe afternoon, I forget. They made soft pretzels for us. It was really nice. There's a few different leaves in there and like sprigs of leaves. I also pulled out another die set that I had pre-cut some different leaves of different greens and things, and I used those as well. It was a good way to use up some papers, especially scraps of green that were in my stash, so that worked out nicely. And I also used vellum. I've decided that throughout this album, vellum will make an appearance. And that will be something that ties everything together. And unfortunately, I did not have my good vellum adhesive with me, so I had to figure out, how am I going to hide the little spot where I had to glue the vellum on, but I just gave the flowers a darker center from the brick colored paper. So I have some florals, I have the sprigs of leaves, and I just start layering them up, and here is what I came up with. The only thing I was unhappy with at this point is that there's some trapped white space between the tilted photo and the florals. And so I pulled out my Tim Holtz word stickers and pulled out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those of various lengths, and they filled up that gap pretty nicely. I also did some journaling, just naming each person so that I have that on record. So it's her and her parents. Her sister got to come from far away, so that was really nice. She does have 2 brothers. One was not able to be there. One just wasn't there yet when these photos were being taken. The picture of her with someone who looks like he could be her brother is a really close friend who is like a brother to her. So he was in on the family photos. And I should have glued these words on because after I got home, some of them came off. So I had to take a little bit of time and re-glue those down. They're pretty old. I've had this book for a really long time, and I bought it used. So it's some of them have lost their stick. And I'm still looking, trying to decide on 2 more to fill up that space. And that is really all that I end up doing on this layout, other than the journaling, which you don't see in the video. And there wasn't a lot of it. Thanks for watching today. I hope this gives you some ideas for creating embellishments when you don't have anything that is appropriate, and using some ribbon on your pages. Maybe someone will do that soon and share that with me. There are some still shots coming up, and again, thank you to Allison Davis for this sketch. I found it on Pinterest. I'm sure you can find it there as well, but it came in really handy for this large group of photos. Thanks for joining me today. Here come the still shots. Have a good day. Bye-bye.